Greetings, everyone. I hope you are okay wherever you are. The Premier League has come and gone. Yesterday was the last day. We lost the title in less than 10 minutes. That's the nature of football. It went up to the last 10 minutes for the champions to be decided. It was a good contest the entire season. We wished to win the English Premier League, but unfortunately, luck was not on our side. Football is about luck. So if you are not a soccer fan, you will not understand. But football is about luck. So luck was not on our side. Football is not really scientific. It's just a luck. If someone misses, it's a miss. That's it. So that's the nature of football. But of course, we Liverpool fans, we won two titles, the League Cup and the FA Cup. Though we know that Arsenal and Manchester United fans are celebrating, while we know that they won nothing. No, thanks, comrades. We hope you had a great weekend. The last time we spoke here, we were explaining the letter that was written by the Director General of the Department of Home Affairs. And thanks for the input that you sent through the platform. We read all your comments. We might not have responded to you individual to your comments, but we read all your comments. And we will be assisting. Go back to some comments that it needs direct response, but we're glad that some of you are in our other platforms where most of the questions that were posed were answered in a number of platforms that the Zimbabwe community in South Africa is running: Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook page, and the other platforms. And the requests that have been applying for other visas have been assisting as well. We have seen that some comrades have been issued with some permits. They've been sharing this in a number of platforms. And of course, others have had a negative outcome of their applications. But there is still a challenge on the waiver. We thought we have been very simplistic in explaining what a waiver is, but it appears our explaining is not enough. So we are now not sure how we should explain this waiver thing, because there are people out there that still think that the waiver is a permit. Someone will send a message and say, Comrade Mabena, should I apply for a waiver? And I ask, a waiver for what? And the person said, no, we had the Director General wrote me a letter. He says it's now open for me to apply for a waiver. And they think that it is a permit. It is not. I-waiver ayisiyo permit. I-waiver yikucela. Unfortunately, I have challenges in speaking isiShona, but I hope you will understand. I-waiver yikucela ukuthi nxa usebenza umsebenzi wakho ungayisiwo lo kuthiwa i-critical skills. Usebenza nje omunye umsebenzi, uyachayela, ungumchayeli, kumbe usebenza emakhishini, kumbe usebenza efemini, kumbe ungumbalisi, kodwa ke ama skills akho kawekho ma critical skills. Ikhampani yakho kumele lawe libhalele i-Department of Labor ukuthi ikhampani ya-advertise i-post or umsebenzi owenzayo. Kakula South African ongawenza lo msebenzi, kumbe kabamthola South African ongawenza lo msebenzi, kumbe umuntu ole permanent residence permit ongenza lo msebenzi owenzayo. Nxa kungatholakala ukuthi lokho kuliqiniso, baza kunika ke i-waiver bese u-applyela ke i-general work visa. So i-waiver aso permit. Sicela sikuzwisiseni lokho ngoba abantu abaningi balahleka bacabanga ukuthi i-waiver i-permit aso permit. A waiver is not a permit. We have tried in the past to explain, to say if you are working for a company and your skills are not listed under critical skills, but you work for a company, either you work as a domestic worker, you work as a teacher, or you work in a factory, you only apply for a waiver if your employer can convince the Department of Labor that no South African do the job that you are doing, even if you are not under critical skills. So that means every South African or a person that is on PR can work as a domestic worker, can work in a restaurant, can work as a driver. So that's the reason for applying for a waiver, that there's no South African who can do the job. Because most people think that a waiver is a permit. It is not a permit. Once you are granted a waiver, you then apply for your permit, the permit that you qualify for. I'm sure we're very clear. So I just want to clarify that a waiver is not a permit. A waiver it's just a clearance, if I were to use this term, just to clear you to apply. Because when you go to the VFS website, the requirements are listed on what you must have to apply for a particular visa or particular permit. But because you cannot meet those requirements, say for instance, they require a police clearance from Zimbabwe, and for one reason or another, you cannot go back to Zimbabwe to apply for a police clearance, and you have been living in South Africa for more than 10 years, you can apply and ask the Department of Home Affairs to waive that requirement, that you can submit your application without a Zimbabwe police clearance, right? So that's what a waiver is all about. It is not a permit. There is no permit called a waiver, because some people are saying I have to go and pay 1,500 rands and apply for a waiver. There is no such. That a waiver, it is not a permit. Comrade Maxwell Dibarangire says it's clear that majority people do not qualify. This is the fact. That is true, and we have been explaining this, Comrade Maxwell. Comrade Naume Jeremiah Munemo says, so meaning to say there is no need for people to apply if this waiver have been rejected. I did not say so. I said, first and foremost, Comrade Naum, you know the work that you do. You know your own qualifications. You simply go to the website of VFS or Home Affairs. You check the visa that you want to apply for. If you meet the requirements, or you think there is a requirement that must be waived for you to qualify, you then apply. This is why I said last time in the last video, if you remember, I said, if say you are an English teacher, which is not under critical skills, and you are teaching at the metric level, but you are teaching in a farming community where South African graduates will not want to go and teach there, your school and yourself must convince the Department of Labor that South Africans or anyone with a PR is not prepared to work in a farming community and they are struggling to get an English teacher at a metric level, you then get granted a waiver for you to apply for a general work visa. You remember that in 2014, there were quota permits. Most teachers that were working in rural Limpopo, rural Mpumalanga province, and I think in Northern Cape, were using quota permits. But in 2014, the quota permits were then removed. We met the then Director General, who's no longer there at the head office. I mean, he was one of the directors at the Home Affairs. They were actually assisting those teachers who had the quota permits to apply for a general work visa. I do not remember any teacher who was on quota permit when they were terminated who failed to move from a quota permit to a general work visa. So they were granted a waiver at that time for them to apply. But of course, this is 2022. Things have changed, and we know what is happening on the ground. So I did not say, Comrade Naume, that you should not apply. I'm saying a waiver is not a permit. And you also remember, we said in one of the videos that if your partner is South Africa, whether they're applying for a relative visa or for a sponsoral visa, but in terms of the requirements, your partner does not have enough money, right? You must submit proof of employment that you are not coming to South Africa for the purposes of staying with your partner or your relative. You are already in South Africa and you have been in South Africa for the last 10 years and you are working. So your relative or your partner is not going to look after you, right? You apply for that because you have been given a general waiver that you apply in South Africa by the Department of Home Affairs or by the Cabinet. So the first waiver, which we need again to re-clarify, is that when you come to South Africa on a visitor's visa, and you then now need to move to another visa, you need to go back to your country of origin to apply. So what happened is on the 24th of November 2021, Cabinet said a holder of ZEP does not have to go back to their country of origin and apply to move to the mainstream visas. So that announcement was the first waiver to say you don't have to go back to your country of origin, go back to Zimbabwe and apply from then. Though in 2014, you also must remember that in 2014, the then Minister of Home Affairs, Nalanda Pandor, who is now Minister of International Relations, when she was Minister of Home Affairs, and there were discussions about renewing the DZP into ZSP. She had made an announcement at the time in 2014, just before the elections, that holders of DZP would have to go back to Zimbabwe to apply to renew their permits. That meant that if you were not going to go to Zimbabwe, you were supposed to go back to Zimbabwe and apply for renewal. But that was then reviewed after elections of 2014 when Malus Gigaba became Minister of Home Affairs. And they said, let's review that because it was going to interrupt in the job market. People would have to renew while in South Africa. You remember that was in 2014. So Cabinet on the 24th of November 2021 has done the same, that you don't have to go back to Zimbabwe to apply for mainstream visa. But you must also remember that holders of Zimbabwe special permits, ZSP, there are many. Between 2014 up to now, up to that cabinet decision, there are people that then qualify to move to other mainstream visas. They to go back to Zimbabwe to apply to move from the ZSP then to the mainstream visas. Most were moving to critical skills, right? I know quite a number of them. At the time, the challenge was that the embassy in Harare will hold your passport. But that was arranged by the Department of Home Affairs that if you were a holder of ZSP, you were not you were supposed to go and apply in Zimbabwe if you are moving from the special permit to another visa. But the embassy in South African embassy in Harare will not hold your passport until the process is over. And you will know if for those that are in Zimbabwe that have been applying for permits, if you apply for a permit and are in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, I mean in Harare, they will basically hold your passport until the entire process is over. That is to say, maybe about 8 weeks until a decision has been made on your application without you having a passport in your possession. But on the 24th of November, 2021, the South African cabinet said you don't have to go back to Zimbabwe, but you apply to move here. That was the first wave. Now, if then you qualify, you apply straight. But if again you request the Department of Labor, Department of Home Affairs to waive some of the requirements as listed, you then apply for a waiver. So a waiver is not a permit. I-waiver kaso permit. Ungathi hayi mina sensiya apply i-waiver, ngingathola i-waiver sengi-right. Hayi, ayisikho lokhu bantu bakithi. Comrade Nomagugu Ncube says, siyabonga mabhena ukuhlala usichasisela. Olendlebe uzwile ngaphandle kwabo Thomas abangakholwa ngokubona. Well, Comrade Nomagugu. And then Comrade Goodwin Chirume says, yeah, the challenge that I have is that my Shona speaking comrades always speak to me in English or some in Isindebele, so I don't get to learn Shona. So I'm struggling to read here. Comrade Goodwin Chirume says, wherever Chikombiro, Jeguti Kana Uchi, Shanda Basa, Risiri under critical skills. Company yako inofanira kunyorera Department of Labor. That is correct. That is correct. And at least I read that, Comrade Goodwin Chirume, and I understood. And then you continue saying, ichisa nangura kuti awukona mu South African anogona kuita basa raura kuita zvika zikanweka kuti ichokwati banokupa waiver yaunoshandisa kuapply general permit. That is exactly what I was saying, Comrade Godwin Chirume. Thank you for the interpretation. There is Comrade here. Let me scroll back. Yeah, you continue. Comrade Godwin Chirume says, waiver I see permit, I see Chikumbiro. This I don't understand, but I think you are saying waiver is not a permit, but it's a request to be cleared. No, thanks, Comrade Goodwin Chirume. At least I have someone that will teach me, Sean. Comrade Obed Msaraure always speaks to me in English. It doesn't teach me, Sean, and Comrade Mujosi. Comrade Presia Masu says, thanks for the clarity. Mabhena, hopefully abantu bayezwa bayeke lento yokudliwa izimali ngento engeke iphume. Comrade Maxwell Tibaringire says, thanks, Bachirume. Comrade, where am I? Comrade Trines says, why they email people that come and apply this waiver? It seems they just want to take people money. No, you did not understand the letter by the Director General. We, in the last video, were explaining this, Comrade Trines. because the letter in summary is just to remind you that deadline for application as per cabinet decision is 31st December 2022. And the teaching was simply saying few people have applied for the visa, other visas, or even for the waiver, and was encouraging people to apply. And then Comrade Kalim Diba says, "Good day, Mr. Mabena. I want to apply for a business permit. What are the requirements? Please, Sizanini Baba Mabena." Right, you remember we discussed this. There's a video about business application which you should bring 5 million from outside as part of investment for you to qualify. But again, this is where you need a waiver. Assuming you are running a company, say my banner private limited, right? And you have acquired, your company has acquired assets worth more than 5 million or around then. You need to ensure that your company complies with all requirements, that is to pay tax with SARS. It's a registered company. You prove that your company contributes to the economy of South Africa. You submit proof of your annual turnover. You actually apply for a waiver because the Department of Trade and Industry must come and inspect your company to see if indeed your company does contribute to the South African economy. If your company contributes to the South African economy as per the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Trade and Industry will recommend that the Department of Home Affairs should grant you a business visa, not, without you showing that you are actually bringing 5 million into the country because you have been running your business under the business special permit. But now you need to move to the normal business visa. So these are the things that are required. You must be tax compliant. You must be registered. Demonstrate or show that if your company closes down, a number of South Africans are going to lose their jobs. Your annual turnover, how your company contributes to the running of the South African, or contributes to the economy of South Africa. Then once the Department of Trade and Industry satisfies itself with that, they will recommend that you get a business visa, and the Department of Home Affairs will then process the application. But if it's you are renting a chair in a salon, which is most what most people do. If you are renting a chair, you are the only person. You are basically self-employed, so you will certainly struggle to get a business visa because you are not employing anyone. So I'm not sure if the Department of Trade and Industry would even want to come and inspect you when you are renting a chair, say in Khayelitsha or in Hillbrow. Then Comrade KG Manyathela says, "Dala ngicabanga ukuthi umbuzo yethu ingaphenduleka lingayohlangana lo DG ngeke ngezwa kungani lizoba lo mhlangano angisazwanga ohanjwa njani." The DG we had indeed requested to have a meeting with the DG. He then suggested that we put everything in writing, what we need to raise. We did wrote to him. Maybe this is why they then responded to individual ZEP holders through the letter that we're explaining last week. Welcome, Comrade Roslyn Yati, you just joined now. Comrade Gerald Rubuya, thanks. Comrade Godwin Churume says, first the waiver was granted to every ZCP holder, no need to go back to Zimbabwe. True. Comrade Unity Ncube, for us domestic workers, amasango avalekile shem. Comrade Unity Ncube, the Department of Home Affairs is reviewing the Immigration Act. You remember we spoke about the white paper on international migration as gazetted in 2017. it makes a number of proposals around managing of migration, and the white paper says or recognizes that within the SADC region, people of low skill do come and work in South Africa. And as part of free movement of the people within the SADC region, it then makes various proposals, which I will not go through. So we don't know whether the proposals as contained in the gazetted white paper on international migration in 2017, those proposals would be incorporated into the Immigration Act when it has been amended. We do not know. And also, when the Department of Labor and Employment finalizes its migration labor policy, we are not sure if they are going to carry that. Uh, uh, Comrade Rebecca Madida says, "Ayikho indaba yethu." Well, it's not for me to say. Ngiyazi ukuthi izolo kuse-church Comrade Rebecca Madida qhubeka uthandaza. You never know what will happen. XX says i-UIF izahamba njani ngoba vele akulungi lutho kuthina abaphekayo. We said the briefing that we got was that you can't apply for your benefits when you are still engaged, when you are still employed. I mean to say, when you are still working. We will go back to our labor consultants, get a clear understanding on the process. Or we wrote to some comrades in the trade union movement to also assist in this area. We hope by June we'll have consulted our labor consultants so that we give you the right information. We are going to a close, comrades. I might not read every comment, but Comrade Rose Lignac says, please may I understand there, can my employer write to Home Affairs if I'm not qualifying for critical skills? Your employer, Rose Lignac, has to show why they prefer to employ you than a South African. If there's a South African who can do the job that you are doing, then there's no need to write. But if your employer can convince the Department of Labor, by the way, to say there's no South African or any person that on a PR cannot do the work that you do, yes, they can try and apply, and all the best there. Comrade T. Maguba says, good day, Mr. Mabena. My job title was under critical skills before, but now in the new critical skills list is out. Should I try apply, or it would be a waste of money? We said in the last video that, for instance, the diesel mechanics were in the critical skills list, but the one published in February, they were removed. So if your company struggles to get a South African who can do the job that you are doing, certainly apply for a waiver. So I will certainly encourage you to apply for a waiver, and we take it from there. It is better to apply than not applying at all. Comrade Price Bayai, thanks. Comrade Kylie Mdiba, thanks. Comrade Kuspindi, wenwangakithi, good morning, Miss Mapes. Cela usizo ngokuthola izimali zethu zama-UIF. I've just explained this, that by June we will have completed our consultation with our labor experts to assist us on how we should handle this. Otherwise, thank you so much, comrades. Have a great week ahead. We know that Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal fans, they pretend as if they won the league title. It was Manchester City. They are busy laughing at us. We are Liverpool. You will never walk alone. Otherwise, have a great week ahead, comrades. Thank you so much. We love you all.